I just got done seeing Rebel Moon on Netflix, and I have to say, I really enjoyed part one, A Child of Fire. Think Star Wars mixed with a bit of Lord of the Rings, heavy metal, Dune, Mad Max, Final Fantasy, and a pinch of Excalibur, and that's what you get with this film. You can see so many influences from fantasy and science fiction in this film, and one thing I love about Zack Snyder is that his films are so different from each other. Yes, you have a few tropes, you have a few trademarks from the director, but every film is different. Watchmen can be different from Sucker Punch, can be different from 300, Dawn of the Dead, Army of the Dead, and after almost what it felt like 10 years of DC films, it was nice seeing Snyder return to something original, first with Army of the Dead and then Rebel Moon. And I have to say, I really enjoyed this film. This film was a blast from start to finish, and as a matter of fact, I felt like it was a little bit too fast for its own good, you know? I would have been down to see a 3-hour version of this film. Everything moved much faster than I thought, and this is a film that was also very different than the film I thought it was going to be, and I love that. Many of you may not know, outside of the DC Comics, I love Star Wars, especially like Lucas era Star Wars, pre-Disney. I love Star Wars, the expanded universe. I love science fiction, Frank Herbert's Dune. I love everything. So like seeing that in Rebel Moon was kind of cool, but it's like a little bit more Seven Samurai-ish, you know? And I love it because many moments of it feel like present day regular world stuff with the clothing and everything, and other moments feel like it's like World War II, and other moments feel very futuristic. It's an amalgamation of everything, and I really like that Snyder created something original. We need more original works. We had The Creator from Gareth Edwards earlier in science fiction. It's been a very good time for science fiction, and Netflix really did good with this. You know, this is more for general audiences. However, going into this, please be respectful to people who express their opinion of liking this. You have some assholes who are going to go in hating this movie. And you know the type I'm talking about. The real toxic ones that go in and just hate it because Zack Snyder did it. Or other things, you know. And this film does have its flaws. That is given. But please be respectful out there. If you're a fan of Snyder, I think you're going to enjoy this and know that you're going to be wanting more. But it's not going to be in the way of BVS or Zack Snyder's Justice League in a way where it's like something was butchered. It's going to be more of like Lord of the Rings, where it's going to expand on what was already there, you know. But it's only about 2 hours and 17 minutes. I love the cast. You have Anthony Hopkins' voice on this robot. You have Sofia Boutella as Cora. She is a badass in this. I love that she has a main leading role in this, you know. Montgomery Scotty, you know, her role in Star Trek Beyond, Kingsman, Atomic Blonde, The Mummy. She's a very good actress, and I kind of like that she's given a role to show off her talents, not only with acting, but physicality as far as fighting. Ed Skrein, who's no stranger to being a villain, you know, from Deadpool, Ajax from Deadpool, and he was also a henchman in Alita Battle Angels, one of the bounty hunters. I really like what he did in this role. He is frightening. Moments of this feel reminiscent of like the opening to Inglourious Bastards in a way. And the cinematography is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. Ray Fisher gets a cool role in this. Jamin Hansu, he plays a really good part in this as a former general. You get Charlie Hunnam as this kind of pilot for hire. Pei Duna is also awesome in this film as Nemesis. There's a great scene featuring her character. You also have Stas Nair, Mikhail Huzman. You also have a couple of cameos from bigger actors, which I won't go into in this review. There's a lot of hints of what could happen in part two. Certain theories I certainly have, given some of the characters and their offspring and stuff, but we'll have to see how it plays out, you know. But overall, this is a good standalone film that leaves it open for part two. There might be moments where some audiences might feel like it's dragging a bit. For me, I didn't feel that. It was just kind of moving fast. But then there's the moments of action that pick it up. Just when you think it's going to like drop off, it picks up. And the last 30 to 40 minutes of this movie are just incredible. I can't imagine what it would have been like for the event screenings, seeing this on the big screen. So far, I say bring on the extended cut and bring on part two. I'm ready for that next year. I like the Band of Rebels in this. Great cast. And Zack Snyder is a filmmaker that I greatly admire for doing stuff that's different. He may be polarizing to some, but at least you know it's a Zack Snyder film. You know, there's a lot of cookie cutter processed films out there, and he does something different. You may like it, you may hate it, whatever. He's doing him. Zack Snyder is doing Zack Snyder. And he does what he does best in this. I do want to see more from these characters because there's a lot that's brushed over, but it's not a film that's entirely like what some people are describing as Jupiter Ascending. That's like another monstrosity I won't go over. But like, Rebel Moon's entertaining enough as it is. You know, is it the greatest film ever? No. Is it the greatest Snyder film? No, but it's probably one of the most ambitious. And this is just a start of something bigger, a larger story, a larger universe. And I cannot wait to see how they explore that with Netflix. And I'm glad that they gave him the freedom to do what he wants to do. You know, do one for general audiences and then do one for the people who really want to delve in. And for PG-13, it is still brutal. People are like, it's edited down and all this. And I'm like, no, it's still a pretty brutal film, even with a PG-13 rating. Like Magnificent Seven remake, kind of brutal, you know, or Casino Royale. And overall, it just is like a timeless tale, you know. And it brings you like the start of a rebellion. And it would have been cool to see this as Star Wars, but I'm kind of glad that that didn't work out and that it's its own thing. You know, it's nice in the age of IP and franchises that we get something original that could potentially become a franchise. But there's a difference between like remaking something that's already been done versus having other films, other stories be inspiration for something original. And I really like what Zack Snyder did with this. If you're a general audience, you like sci-fi, you may find some strengths, you may find some flaws, so enjoy it on Netflix. If you're a hardcore fan, some people I know are waiting for the 3-hour version. I still like this. Like, I don't get some of the criticism. It's not the greatest thing ever, but it's not the worst thing ever made. It certainly did not deserve the 9 to like 20% Rotten Tomato score, whatever bullshit was on there. If I had to give it a score personally, I'd probably give it about a 3.5 out of 5, almost a 4. I want to see how the added footage plays in, but also you got to remember this is half a movie, so this is part 1, and it did it like a book. It did it like the first act or a comic, and it's part 1, you know. And I want to see what happens in part 2. The visual effects are beautiful on this film, and it's a film that I'm definitely going to be rewatching this Christmas over and over on Netflix. My mom and I watched it. She doesn't watch too much sci-fi stuff with me, but she actually was really enjoying it. My father and I are going to watch it tomorrow, so yeah. It's going to be a fun time over the holidays. Let me know, fellow fans out there, what did you think of Rebel Moon? Be respectful. If you get any like Snyder hate or like DC fans, real DC fans nonsense, you're going to get blocked. I don't have time for that. I'm tired of that BS. We've moved on. This Snyderverse is the Rebel Moon universe. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Not really a review, but just more of like my thoughts and everything. And thank you for everyone out there for watching this video and watching my videos and supporting the channel. This will be the last movie review I do. And we'll see if I go over the other Rebel Moon parts, but I hope everyone out there has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year for 2024. One thing this film does do is it inspires me to kind of get behind the camera again a little bit.